Hey guys, I wanted to make this video to check out the gaming performance for the Nexus 7 2013 right here. You can see the games I'm going to test out. I've got Vice City, Riptide GP2, Asphalt 8, Modern Combat 4, Real Racing 3 and Nova 3. The reason I chose these games, I just think they're the most graphically intense, so they're the best for this test. In terms of custom ROMs and kernels, I am completely stock. I don't have a custom ROM, I don't have a custom kernel. I am rooted though, and that's why I'm able to run the FPS meter up here so we can check out the FPS. So yeah, let's do it. So here we go with Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and if I just dive into the settings, you can see what's going on. In terms of the hardware for this tablet, guys, it's a Snapdragon S4 Pro clocked at 1.5 GHz. That comes with the Adreno 320 GPU. It's pretty strong. And in terms of the screen resolution, we're running at 1920 by 1200. That is above 1080p, so take that into account. You can see the settings here. They are maxed out. Draw distance maxed out, screen resolution maxed out. Visual effects are on max, dynamic shadows are on, and the frame limiter is off just for anyone who cares. So here we go. So one thing to note about the FPS in the corner, the average, maximum and minimum only show the FPS for the last minute of gameplay. So don't take these three into account until we've played about a minute of this. So yeah, let's do it. So maximum settings here, guys. Draw distance is set to max, resolution set to max. So we are playing it above 1080p right now. So having a quick look at the FPS, we are around 20, 19, 24 while driving a car. This is probably the most intense the game will get while driving a car because, you know, it's loading everything. Like I said about GTA, this is one of the most graphically intense games. It does require a very strong GPU and CPU because it has to render so much information. So you can see here as I drive around, it kind of goes through periods of very smooth and then sometimes a little bit jittery. Kind of expected considering, you know, we're running this on a tablet at higher than 1080p resolution. You know, when you actually think about it, it's kind of ridiculous. You can see there on that spin, it went into the 16s, 17s. We haven't quite played a minute yet, so we'll wait for the minimum and average. You can see here when I'm running around the FPS does increase. That's generally because, you know, when you're driving a car it has to draw a lot more information on the screen. We probably have been playing for about a minute now, so you can see the average is around 24, the maximum is 39 and the minimum is 15. So you can see it does kind of struggle on everything on max at this resolution. It's not terrible, but I wouldn't suggest playing it really on complete maximum. So we're just going to mess around with some of these settings and try and get a more consistent FPS. So we're going to drop the draw distance down here to, I don't know, around 66%. And we'll drop the resolution here down to about 80, 79. That'll do. I can't be bothered to fix that. But let's test that out. We probably will need to restart the game, so I'll do that quickly. So here we go with the slightly modified settings. And you can see we're in the 30s while running around here. Feels smoother as well while running around. Pretty obvious considering we've dropped the resolution a little bit. Still looks very sharp and the colours and all that look great on this screen. Let's jump into a car here. Good car to test it in. Let's do it. Get out, bitch. Okay, pretty smooth on that pan there, which was definitely a bit laggy at full resolution. Okay, so much better FPS, I can tell you already. This car is pretty quick here. I was zooming through that and it kind of, well, the FPS at the top here was around the 30s. So you can see here, guys, while I'm driving around pretty fast, the frame rate is still holding around the 30s, which feels very smooth to play. Remember, I've dropped the draw distance to around 70 and the resolution to 80, so we're still getting pretty high settings here, but it's much more playable than absolute max. Drive around a little bit more. You can see we're at 40 FPS here. So far these are definitely the settings I would recommend if you've got the Nexus 7 2013. Very smooth. Try and pick up some speed. That was a sweet turn. Okay, so guys, we've probably been playing for about a minute now. You can see the average has gone up to 38, the maximum 52, and the minimum 24. That is quite an increase over what we had on maximum settings. So next up we got Riptide GP2, and everything is on maximum, the resolution and graphics settings. This game is one of the latest games to be released, so it does, I think, support OpenGL 3, so it should look pretty awesome. Here we go. Sometimes on my Nexus 4 this can suffer from frame drops. That could be due to thermal throttling, but let's see how it handles on the Nexus 7 2013. Crap. I missed it. So just having a quick look at the FPS right now, we are in the 40s, 40, 44, 41. Pretty high. Man, I hate playing this game with touch controls. I'm usually so much better with tilt, but tilt you can't see very well through a camera, so. You can see when you boost, the FPS drops a little bit, but it's nothing to worry about, you know, it's still like 28, 30 FPS. Still feels smooth. You can see when it stops, we are back up to around 40. So I can pretty much tell you, I haven't played all the different levels, but this game looks like it can handle absolute maximum settings and resolution without a problem. We've probably been playing for about a minute now. You can see the average is about 40, the maximum 55, and the minimum 31. So easily can handle the maximum settings with this game, no problems. So yeah guys, I'm about to finish the lap and I haven't had one slowdown yet, not even when all this stuff's on the screen. It's been perfectly smooth, so excellent performance here on Riptide GP2. Here we go with Asphalt 8, and you can see the visual quality is on high, so this is the highest settings that the game allows me to do. So let's give this one a shot. Here we go, let's do this. Come on, Asphalt. So here we go, and if we just check out the FPS in the top right hand corner now, we seem to be drifting around 25, 23, which is a little bit low for a racing game, I've got to say. Now, I'm a bit unsure about why this is, because Riptide GP, I know it isn't nearly as intense as this, but it was in the 40s to 50s. Now, this has dropped quite a lot. I'm not sure if this is just down to hardware or if this is down to optimization. It could well be optimization on Gameloft's part. Quite easily, considering they suck at optimization. Yeah, it's not the most enjoyable experience here on absolute max. You can see we're around 20. So if we take a look at that average, minimum and maximum, we've got an average of 23, a maximum of 29, and a minimum of 19 on maximum settings. So, you know, they're not the best. Oh crap. It's not the worst I've seen, but you think it should be able to do better here. And again, I'm not sure if this is the device or optimization. I really want to lean towards optimization because all the other games I've tested so far have been pretty good. And I keep crashing into this damn thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and change some graphic settings right now. So I've dropped this down to the medium settings. Let's see how it performs now. Okay, and we're off. Straight off the bat, I can tell you it does feel smoother. That plane went across smoother as well. And if we look at the FPS, it's about 10 frames smoother. We're into the 30s instead of the 20s. Crap. God, I suck. Suck hard. It's these damn on-screen controls. You can see we're pretty consistent around 30 FPS right now. Much more enjoyable experience. Hard to really see that much of a difference in visual quality. I'm sure there is one. I'm sure the keen eyes amongst you will see that. But, you know, I'd much rather have really smooth gameplay than amazing graphics and being a slideshow. So medium settings are definitely better here. You can see it's just more consistent. The game is smoother. It's just more enjoyable. These are definitely the settings you want to run, at least until the game gets updated, because I do think it's an optimization issue rather than a hardware issue. You can see here, if we look at the average, minimum and maximum, we have an average of 31, a maximum of 36, and a minimum of 28. So there's nothing wrong with that. It would have been nice to be able to have that same FPS score with maximum resolution and graphics, But hey, so there you have it guys, that's Asphalt 8 with medium settings. Next up, Modern Combat 4, and you can see we've got these extra flame effects. Now these don't mean you have absolutely all the extra settings, but what they do mean is you're not running the lowest settings by default. So that is something. If we go into the options here, I can't actually see anywhere that I can improve the graphics. I'm not just being blind here, they're just not here. So I can't improve any graphics, so it's just what the game thinks I should run at. So let's go ahead and test that out. Here we go with the little cutscene. Tell you what, we'll skip the cutscene. Let's just get to this gameplay. This is what everyone's waiting for, right? Boom! Oh man, it looks so good. So good on the screen. It's just so good. You can see there we've got some stuff on the screen, some effects, some dust popping out of the soil here, the sand, the beach, whatever it's called. Looks good. Modern Combat 4 is again one of the hardest games to play. It's very graphically intense, has a lot of things going on. You can see the flame effect there, the smoke in the background as well, so it does have many different levels. You can see the planes going across the sky as well, so it does seem to have quite a high graphics level here. In terms of the FPS right now, we're sitting at 28, 30, which I can tell you is pretty good for this game, especially at this resolution, don't forget. Don't forget the resolution, guys. It matters. There'll probably be some guy who comments on my video going, yeah, but the iPhone 4 runs this really smoothly. And I'll be like, yeah, but resolution, dude. Resolution. Come on. Crap. Crap. Dance. 33, 36 FPS here. Feels good. Oh, come on, where are these guys coming from? I can actually say this is probably one of the best experiences I've had with this game. This like I said, this game is intense, and a lot of other devices will struggle, but this device is doing pretty damn well. Yes, the FPS isn't like 50, 60, but it's 30 and above, which I'm quite happy with. You can see as you're playing it, because it's not a racing game, you know, the FPS feels good. It doesn't feel like it's slow at all. See these cool lens flare effects going on. Pretty awesome. I've got to say, this game looks amazing. If we check out the average, minimum, maximum, we're running an average of 30, a maximum of 48, and a minimum of 22. So that is pretty good, I can tell you. Definitely one of the best experiences I've had with this game on any device. Any device. Let's follow this bitch of a tank. Can see all these, all this AI going on here, all this shooting. We're still in the 28 to 30 range. See, this is what makes me more confused about the Asphalt 8 game, because I know that's a racing game and it's just different, but it performs so well on this game, you expect it to do a little bit better on Asphalt, and that's why I think it's optimization rather than hardware. Also, what I'm noticing with this gaming review, guys, is I'm not getting any major frame drops. Yes, sometimes the frames can get lower, but there's nothing drastic. It never just drops like 10 to 15 frames quickly. So we'll finish off by looking at the average. Average 34, maximum 59, and minimum 40. Obviously the minimum has just refreshed, so don't take that minimum into account. But you can see when we're indoors, it got to about 50 FPS. So absolutely excellent performance there from Modern Combat 4. I'm really happy with that. So with Real Racing 3, guys, there's actually an app you can use from the Play Store that you can raise the graphical settings with. I've put it on the absolute extreme, so let's see how it does. And we're off with extreme settings. Looks fantastic. Everything looks super sharp, super clear. And so far we are around 30 FPS. So even though this is a racing game, it's a little bit different to the other racing games in that it's not that fast paced. The gameplay is a little bit slower. So we don't actually have to aim for 40 plus FPS like we did in Asphalt. It's a little bit different. Again, checking out the FPS, we're around 30, at least above 30, we're around 33, 36, 40. Can see the shine coming off the car there, pretty awesome. You don't get that on the low settings. You also get more dust here as well. So the race was kind of short, guys, so I actually just started it again, so let's see how we do. I can tell you that performance is fine, even on the absolute maximum extreme settings that the app gives here. You can see we're above 30 and it feels smooth. There's no kind of major drop in FPS at any point. We'll just wait a minute now so that we can see these refresh stats up here. So here we go, we'll just have a quick look at the average, maximum and minimum. You can see the average is 32, the maximum is 43 and the minimum is 28. So there's no problems there. The minimum being 28 is pretty much the big indicator right there for you. We haven't dropped below 28 FPS. And that's going to give you a smooth gameplay. So there's no problems here with Real Racing 3 on the Nexus 7 2013. So here we go with Nova 3, and there's no graphical settings for this game, so we'll have to see what the game thinks the Nexus 7 can handle. Should be able to tell you in this video what kind of settings it's actually running. So it's not running low, because on low settings you don't get this kind of flame outside the window or any of these effects. So it's definitely running higher than low, which is a good sign. And you can also see that haze coming out the back there. So I do think we're actually running high settings, otherwise you don't get that. This isn't just a video, it is actually rendered, so you can see how it's handling it here. So here we go with some gameplay, let's see how it runs. So far we are around the 30 mark again. Most games seem to be on this Nexus 7 tablet. Oops, wrong button. So we'll just take a look outside here. And yeah, you can see here we are running the higher settings. If you're not running the higher settings, you don't get any of these kind of flame effects or the lens flare. So we're definitely running the high settings here, which is a good sign. Let's jump down. Here we go. Looks great over here. Yes, skip. Let's play. So you can see the effects, the heat coming out at the end of the gun when I shoot. Again, showing we are on higher settings. Not sure if we're on the absolute highest. Sometimes people say there's some sort of shadows, but I'm not seeing those here. So maybe we're not on the absolute highest, but I'm not completely sure. In terms of the FPS, again, we are hanging around the high 20s to low 30s. So let's go indoors. We can see right now we're at 40 FPS. Change the gun. You can see here it's easy to pan around these corners. It feels very smooth. Even if my shooting sucks ass. So if we quickly look at this average, maximum and minimum, right now we have an average of 38, a maximum of 48 and a minimum of 24. So pretty decent here. Like I said, there's no graphical settings for this game, so I can't change anything. But it's playing pretty nicely. I'm pretty happy with this. Now just one thing to mention about the graphical power of the Nexus 7. Yes, it has the same Adreno 320 that's in the Nexus 4, but it has a larger surface area, so it hardly ever has problems with the thermal throttling because it's a bigger surface area. It can easily dissipate the heat. The Nexus 4 has the problem with thermal throttling, so you can get more out of your Adreno 320 on your Nexus 7 than you can out of your Nexus 4. You can see we're back outside now. FPS is around 44. Is he dead? Yes, it's the end of the game. Skip. Didn't see that skip button there. So here we go. We're outside again. Let's test out the FPS. So while there's no enemies around, you can see the FPS is easily above 30, nearly in the 40s to 50s, or 50s I should say. When the enemies turn up, it drops a little bit, but that's expected because, you know, it's more CPU power. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much Nova 3 right here. You can see there's no problems with the performance. So there you have it, guys. That's the gaming performance for the Nexus 7 2013. I'm actually really impressed. It's a £200 tablet and it can pretty much handle the latest and greatest games that Android has to offer. It handled Vice City pretty damn well on nearly maximum settings. Riptide GP was fantastic, no problems whatsoever. Asphalt 8 was the only kind of issue one, which again I think is down to the optimization rather than the hardware. Modern Combat 4 was excellent for the game. It's a stunning looking game and it really did perform well. Real Racing 3 was excellent and so was Nova 3. So this tablet is fantastic for gaming. There's no doubt about that. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.